My supervisor kept adding herself into our department's Instagram content. So my supervisor, Rachel, has been digitally manipulating our department's social media posts for months now. And honestly, it's been both hilarious and cringeworthy to watch because she has zero skills with photo editing software. Even before the social media fiasco started, Rachel was always super hung up on her appearance. I've been working with her for like 5 years now, and in reality, she's probably mid-40s. Average build with some extra weight, totally normal. Has this plain brown bob cut and basically looks like your typical middle-aged office lady. But OMG, at work she struts around in this awful curly red wig that doesn't even match her skin tone, squeezes into clothes that are clearly too tight, and last year blew almost $12,000 on various cosmetic procedures that didn't even look good. Like, whatever, right? Not my business how she spends her money or presents herself. But then about 8 months ago, our department decided we needed to modernize with social accounts, and Rachel immediately volunteered to run everything. She was going on about how she had an eye for aesthetics and thought it would be a great way to elevate our department's image. Plus, I think she saw it as an opportunity to control how she appeared in company photos. Nobody else wanted the extra work, so our director Alex just handed her the login info without any discussion about qualifications. The problem? Rachel has literally zero experience with content creation or social media management. She barely even uses Facebook for personal stuff. I didn't think much of it at first, until I checked our company accounts the day after Rachel got control. She posted this weird solo shot of herself standing outside her office with this creepy forced smile. But the editing, oh my god. She had somehow made her eyes bright green. They're brown IRL. Stretched her legs to make herself like 5 inches taller but only by elongating her knees weirdly, and gave herself these bizarre triangular boobs that defied physics. She also tried to make herself skinnier but squished her hips instead of her waist, extended her awful wig to waist length, drew over her lips with what looked like MS paint, colored her teeth pure white, literally just a white rectangle, and, I kid you not, pasted Louis Vuitton heels over her regular pumps. Nobody said anything. Not Alex, not HR, nobody. So Rachel just kept going with these increasingly insane edits. For about 7 months straight, she'd take normal office photos and turn them into these bizarre distortions of reality. My personal favorites include the time she accidentally gave herself 3 hands, completely erased 1 leg, and somehow added an extra leg coming out of her hip. But it got so much worse when she started editing group photos from client events. One time we took a team pic at the Henderson conference where Rachel was clearly the shortest person there, but in her posted version she was suddenly towering over everyone. She'd be 40 pounds lighter, with this weird blurry filter on her face that made her look like a melting wax figure. The background would be all warped, door frames bent like they were in a funhouse mirror, tables curved impossibly, and the rest of us looking like we'd been stretched or squashed. It was so obvious, but we started hearing some whispers. A few clients would make jokes about our creative social media presence during meetings, and Morgan from sales mentioned that a client had asked if we'd hired a surrealist artist for our photos. We mostly laughed it off as our company having a quirky brand, but I could tell some people were uncomfortable, until last week when all hell broke loose. Turns out clients were noticing but just weren't saying anything directly to us. Someone from Jensen Corp finally emailed our entire leadership team with a bunch of screenshots comparing Rachel's edits to the real photos that other attendees had posted. It was a side-by-side nightmare and so embarrassing for our whole department. Alex was furious. He called an emergency meeting with Rachel, me, since I handle client relationships, and Robert from legal. The rest of the team was told to focus on their regular work while we sorted out a PR situation. Nobody knows exactly what went down in that meeting, but when we all came back from lunch, Rachel's desk was cleaned out. The real twist, though? Turns out Rachel wasn't even doing the Photoshop work herself. Her assistant Jenna, who's also her bestie from college, was the one actually creating these monstrosities, and Rachel was just approving them before posting. Jenna got fired too, since apparently she was spending like 6 hours a week on company time making these ridiculous edits. The funniest part is that according to Katie and HR, Rachel rejected tons of Jenna's edits for not making her look young enough, or not flattering her figure correctly. Like, what? If those were the ones that made the cut, I can't even imagine what got rejected.